What's going on, everybody? It's the Mental Money back again for, whatever time this is now again, once again, I say I am the most inconsistent YouTuber there is probably, but today's video relates kind of to one of my other past series that I was doing, which was the withdrawing from Quetiapine series. Just because I have recently been put back on Quetiapine, which is known as Seroquel. You might know it as Seroquel. Over here it's called Quetiapine. And I had a speech set out for this video, and I started writing it at 6 a.m, but it's a pretty good longish speech. But what I'm gonna do is kind of generalize first, and then I'll do the speech and then end it. So Quetiapine is one of those drugs that's hit and miss. It's really hit and miss with the people that take it. It's like the Marmite of antipsychotic drugs. It really helps with paranoia, anxiety, major depression, bipolar, BPD, schizophrenia, loads of different things, right? But it comes with some pretty nasty side effects. You could get dizzy, nauseousness, heart palpitations, weight gain, just to list a few. So you got side effects to play into the hands there a little bit. But the biggest thing for me about it is stuff like the way it kind of clears your mind of like sometimes important stuff. It can clear your mind a little too much, and it's kind of hard to process and manage stuff, you know, just because you're so kind of zoned out. It can be kind of difficult to keep on track. So it's a hit and miss drug. I have recently been put back on it because I've come off benzodiazepines. I was on diazepam. I put up that video series of me withdrawing from Quetiapine and how that went, and what kind of effects I was getting. Don't relate that to this video. This video is talking about whether it's going to be something you might try, because you might suffer from bipolar, BPD, paranoia, schizophrenia. Any of those things kind of apply to this. And what I would say about it is, it's very fit for its purpose, and that it's not gonna, it's relatively one of the safer medicines out there. It's got backing by a lot of doctors, psychiatrists, people who work in the wards, psychologists and stuff like that. They all kind of recommend to go with Quetiapine if you need an antipsychotic, because it's probably the most general one they give out. They give it to a lot of people, and it has really beneficial effects for them. And I kind of see the same thing for me. It'll work, but it'll only work if I'm doing stuff right. I think that's the same with a lot of medication. You gotta do stuff right whilst on the medication. You can't expect the medication to do everything for you, so you kind of got to work along with it. And that's the big thing about Seroquel, is that, it is probably going to make you feel a bit sleepy and like you're not going to want to do anything. But if you just get up and get on your feet, just slow pace, just slow pace stuff. Don't completely, close off all exercise just because you're on a new medication that makes you feel a bit drowsy, a bit sleepy, a bit inactive. So that's my way of looking at it. That might not be everyone's way of looking at it, but that's the way I look at it, yeah. And I genuinely believe that if you are in a state where you're getting like hallucinations and stuff, this is the only drug that I've took that stops the hallucinations. So, sorry about the cough there. I recently got past an illness and I didn't even realize I was ill. That I always bring it down to symptoms and just had headaches all the time. But anyway, that's off topic. With Quetiapine, you do have to be careful, you know, like with any other medication, you gotta be careful. Don't go on it just because I said to go on it, because I'd never say that. Don't go on it without knowing the facts either. Do your own research and look at other people's experiences. This is why I'm trying to provide my experience with it, because I've been on it for a while and I've been off it. I know what the withdrawal's like. I know what like going on it feels like. I know what being on it feels like, you know. So I've got all ends of that storyline right there, you know. And I'm not gonna sit here and say, you know, it's the best medication I've took. It's not. But is it one of the most essential for the disorders I have? Quite probably. That it's one of those drugs that really kind of dials down on the things that make my disorders worse, which is mainly hallucination and paranoia. And without those, I can do so much better than when I've having to deal with that in a natural way. So it is good for that. It works and is fit for purpose in that retrospect. But let me get on to what I wrote about it. It might sound a little bit linear and a bit boring because I'm not the greatest at reading. I do have dyslexia, and I'm by no means a public speaker. But here we go. So, as many of you already know, Quetiapine, known as Seroquel in the US, is an antipsychotic drug shown to have many benefits to those who suffer from schizophrenia, bipolar, and BPD, or major depression. Though the drug has been around for a while, it has a mixed relationship amongst its takers. This is not a wonder drug, though none are. This drug has been shown to massively help people with paranoia and hallucinations. Therefore, almost the perfect medication for personality disorders. But it's not all sunshine and rainbows, trust me. This medication has been shown to have a long list of side effects that can vary from dizziness to weight gain. I myself have been on and off Quetiapine for almost a year. Most recently, I'm back on it due to worsening symptoms of my BPD, and I find it to work with enough efficiency that I've come back to it. I'm looking at both sides of the plate this time. While this medication can have some pretty nasty side effects, for me, the positives outweigh the negatives. It's all completely individual, but I'm here to put my aspect on it. I suffer from terrible anxiety and a panic disorder alongside BPD and complex PTSD. It helps me zone out some of the depressive thoughts and slow down the processes, making them easier to manage. It does take a little while for the full effect to work. In the meantime, it might start to show signs of improvement within a week or two. Generally, you'll gradually increase the dosage up until the lowest beneficial dose is met. This can vary from person to person. Be sure never to take more or less than the doctor prescribes. Always stick to the course. If you feel like it isn't helping after all of that, always consult a healthcare professional's advice. While I can sit here and tell you that it works for me, it might not for you. I find when it's used in a monotherapeutic circumstance, this medication can be less effective than when run by the side of something like an antidepressant. This, with added therapy treatments and lots of self-help, really show positive signs towards coping and managing your emotions in a safer way. I myself have not noticed any weight gain with this medication, unlike pregabalin, known as Lyrica, which I'm on currently. I do sometimes get blurred vision, moments of nausea, very rarely heart palpitations, but what it does for my anxiety and depression outweighs the side effects. This medication can be very effective when used properly. There are many antipsychotic medications out there, but quetiapine slash Seroquel has a lot of research and medical backing, which is something I spoke about before. Do what you want with the information, but I do believe that this medication should be treated with caution, as it can have side effects that may or may not affect you, just like with many others. Remember, try and find a natural route of healing before medicating. These can be therapies, groups, counseling, and lots of other ways to treat your mental health. They're always beneficial with or without medication. Always be educated, do your research, don't just take a pill because someone says to. Where am I up to? I kind of lost it. Don't just take a pill if you don't necessarily need to. Always seek other routes before medication, but my opinion on quetiapine is it's a very good medication for its fit purpose of reducing paranoia and major depression, keeping your mind a little clearer on what your next step is going to be. I am not a mental health professional, but I am educated in the field. I'm also a patient of many therapy groups, counseling, and general practitioner. I really hope some of this information has been helpful to you on whether or not quetiapine might be for you. And I did write this at about 6 a.m. on a sleepless night, so it's rough draft, but kind of gets the point across that it's not all bad, but it's not all perfect. That it's a mixed bag, and you've really got to try and see if those positives can outweigh your negatives and kind of work that out in your own calculations, because it's so individual. Everyone's bodies take on drugs different ways. We've got different deposits of serotonin, dopamine, all kinds of chemicals. We're all individual, so it might not work the same. But what I can say is that amongst the people who take it for paranoia and anxiety, and for, major depression, personality disorders, it's shown to be very, very beneficial. And I'm not saying, necessarily be on that by itself. Usually when you get put on that, they're running it alongside an antidepressant, and run those two medications alongside a therapeutic healing, kind of like going to therapy counseling groups, whatever. Run that alongside that, and then kind of improve your routine in your life outside of therapy and outside of the medication, and you'll be on a lot better tracks. That's not a guarantee, but that is me saying that, that's how we move forward. That's how we keep pushing it, and that's how we get ourselves out of these ruts or dips. We find the small steps to find the big way up. But I genuinely do believe in it, and I would say that, if you are going through severe paranoia or a very difficult emotional phase, this medication does a very good job. And side effects can be kind of nullified, if that's a word even. They can be brought down by eating differently or sleeping a little longer, or there'll be ways you can work around it. So what I'm trying to say is, take it as you will, but the medication's always going to be there. I don't feel like it's something you have to decide on this minute. Take your time, speak to health professionals, get as much as personal experiences from other people as you can. Get all the facts, know your stuff, do the research, be educated, always take the recommended dose. Never ever exceed the dose, and you should be all good. Honestly, I feel like for me, it is a lifesaver at points, and I genuinely have faith in it. So that is my view on quetiapine, known as Seroquel. if you have found this video in any way helpful at all, I appreciate you. I appreciate you a lot, because I'm very inconsistent on this platform, but that is due to my mental health and also slight amount of laziness. But if you would like to see when I do live stream, I not only live stream here where you can ask me questions live, or you could like chuck a comment down, I can give you an answer there. But I also stream on twitch.tv/Rossi Rages, which is video games. Bit of light-hearted humor, you know, just chilled out playing video games. So if you want to catch me over there, that would be twitch.tv/Rossi Rages. But if you want to catch me on here, make sure to hit the subscribe button and then the bell icon, and then you're notified for all the live streams, videos, all that good stuff. But until then, thank you so much again. I really do appreciate every single person who listens to what I've got to say. Like I find that insane that people make it through a whole video, you know? So I really do appreciate you, but the time has come. But I will see you in the next video. I am sure of it. Have a good day and night wherever you are.